Welcome back to my BattleMap tutorial series. Today we are going to continue on with our castle series where we have worked on a tower, a ruined tower, and a collapsed tower. And we've also worked on castle walls. What we're going to do today is work on the castle wall damage. So again, if we zoom in here, we can sort of see some damage there, and some damage there. So it's fairly simple. What we want to do is we want to open our castle wall source file. And you should have this from my previous images, our previous tutorials. Again, we've got our stone wall texture, our wall shadow, which is our inner shadow, our outer battlement shadows on the edges, and then our battlements themselves. So again, there we go. And again, you want these all linked so when you move them and copy them and things, they work. So we're going to make a copy of this group. We're going to call it wall damaged. Okay. We're actually just going to drag it down a bit, okay? Because what we're concerned about is we're going to create some shadow, basically some overlays and shadows to make it look like a damage. Because again, you don't know where you want the damage while you're building the wall, so you'll lay out your walls and then just move the damage or apply the damage to them. So first thing we want to do is we're going to create a new layer, and we'll call this damage section 1, because we're going to create a couple of them. Try and do this quick though. And then we're just going to select a section of our wall, and usually, you know, it sort of collapses out. Okay, we don't want our outside the wall, so I'm just going to erase that. I just find it easier than trying to take my straight line down that edge. Okay, and then we're going to go to our paint tool. I'm going to select an irregular brush. Again, you can use a solid brush if you want, but I prefer irregulars. Your size is, again, I vary my size all the time. In fact, I'll probably increase this guy a bit. Your opacity, you want, usually I like my opacity under 25% in the low 20s. And again, the flow in the low 20s. Though again, for certain sections, I will increase this. So here we're going to go with our paintbrush, and we're just going to go lightly over the entire section. Okay, which again, so if you zoom out, you know, maybe that just got a blast or a fireball or something like that. So again, we're going to get our selection back. I'm going to decrease my brush a little bit, and I'm going to go sort of down the middle here. Okay, of where basically the section broke. Okay, and I'm actually, let's make that a little bit solid. Let's go here. Solid line, 3 pixels, brush. Okay, we're going to increase our flow up into the 70s. And then we're just going to go here. We're just going to sort of draw the crack of the stones where it sort of broke. Okay, so that doesn't look bad. So again, we'll go back to our irregular brush. And we'll set our flows back down. You didn't have to do that last step. I just wanted a little bit more defined. Okay. So again, when we zoom out to 100%, turn our selection off, that's sort of what we're getting right now. So again, just go back, and then we're going to take our brush. We're just going to go along the outside edges as well to give it sort of like the initial 3D effect of it dropping down or breaking away or broke away. And then we're also going to go just along the lower edge as well. So it sort of drops off there. Okay, so that's basically it. So again, if you zoom out to 100%, that's it. And so if you look at my ruins tower, that's pretty much all we've done with there. Now we've got a little bit of outside shadow. So let's actually go and do that. We'll go back to our brush. Again, low flow. I'm going to increase the size just slightly. We'll just go along the outside lightly. You know, so the blast mark or whatever took out this section, sort of went like that. Now the problem without the selection, you can see we get sort of down here this. Now that's easy enough to take care of. We just go and cut that out, and we've got a clean edge. So that's good, but what if you want some rubble? Where did this wall section go? It fell down somewhere, so we can add some rubble. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our shadow overlays. And I have a tutorial on shadow overlays, so if you don't know what a shadow overlay is or need some, I have a tutorial on how to create that. So I'm going to use boulders. I've got bricks, you know, a couple different sets of boulders. I'm going to use boulders, and I'm going to drag that into here. Okay, and obviously too big as a lot of your shadow overlays are going to be. But again, it's better to have them bigger and resize them down than have them too small. So again, what we want is the edge to be down there, and then the other edge, you know, about, you know, equal distance from there. So that's good. Now I basically need some more texture. So I'm actually going to go like this and turn my texture. Now you can either copy your wall or just you know, do it from the wall texture or just paint the additional wall texture. And basically that is so I have the fallen bricks the same texture as my fallen bricks. So I'm going to drag that up under my rubble 2Bs stones. Okay, and I'm going to collapse these two actually down, because again I'm going to apply a layer mask which is going to apply to these. Okay, so then again we want to apply a layer mask, and I'm going to get rid of real quickly the outer edges because we don't want those. So again we're going to go to our brush 45. I'm going to jump up my flow and opacity so when I can just hard erase these. So again, increase my brush size a little bit. Just go there. You got to be careful there because that's right where our edge is. And just clear these sections out, because again I don't want those. Okay, and we'll just go right along there. Okay. So even right there, that's a little bit too big. Maybe if it was a full collapse section or something like that, we'd be good. So then we're just gonna go back to our brush and probably shrink that down a bit and drop our opacity back into the 20s and our flow back into the 20s. And now we're gonna make a little bit more conscious decision of what we're erasing. So what I like to do is try and have full rocks when I'm erasing something. Gives it a sort of a nice edge there. So again, just go down in there, and then I'll just hard erase that. And again, this isn't bad because maybe there's dirt or blast damage or something having this little bit of darkness there. Unless you're on a light texture, then you'll want to fully erase it. So if you've got a light stone texture, you may want to get rid of that. So again, we're going to shrink this back down. We'll get rid of that. We'll go into there. Bring that down. Go around that rock. Shrink that guy real down. Whoops, a little bit too much. So again, I'm just going to zoom in here. Get back to my brush. Shrink him down along that edge. And again, this is more of a preference. You know exactly how you want to do this. You know, there is no true science here. I'm just gonna go along my edges. And where is that? Okay, so go there and go there. Okay, so then when I go back here, I can do it a little bit more granular and get rid of all this. Okay. Okay. I'm also gonna, I seem to have a bit of a sharp edge, and that's because basically it's the rock tutorial that sort of went there. So we're gonna erase this a little bit, or find our edge where our collapsed edge goes, and it looks like it's right there. So again, so I probably got a little bit too much rubble here. Okay, and we'll find our edge. And if you go too far, you know, you can always go back and just switch your color to hide and hide that if you want, but so far we haven't. But again, that's if your flow and opacity is too much and it's like, oh, I erased too much. You know, you can always adjust it. It's fairly easy. So again, we're just finding that inner edge is it? Okay, so there it is. Now I probably don't need as much rocks here. Oops, I'm erasing a little bit too much of that. So let's go there and draw that back in. And I'm just going to boost this up there real quick. Okay, whoops, don't want that. I want to actually erase some of that. So again, we sort of lost our line here. So I'm going to erase a little bit of this because I've already got the stone texture there and it's not that bad. But it doesn't hurt to have a little bit. Okay, so there we go. So again, there's the collapse section. Okay, not bad. So now we're going to do another damage section, and let's go over here. And again, I'm going to use an overlay. So here I'm going to start with there, and I'm going to go overlay, open, and I've got an overlay for terrain. Now you can get this from GeoMaps. Which is basically, you know, a shadow overlay that I did for, you can see the valleys and the mountains and the rivers here. And I'm just going to take that. Actually, let's use my other one that I had there. It was a little bit more focused, I think. Yeah, so it's got like some nice lines there. So I'm going to drag that back to my map. And obviously, again, way too big, but that's fine. We just shrink that guy down. And that's, again, why I didn't mind. So, again, when I zoom in, those lines become less of an issue. And I'm going to actually shrink it down some more. And let's see. Yeah, that's, I guess, not that bad. So, again, what I'm looking at this section. So, I'll highlight my wall section. And I'll go back to my section that I'm here, and I'm going to apply an overlay, which will immediately erase all that. Then all I want to do is just sort of clean this up a little bit. No, maybe not as sharp edges everywhere. We'll clean that section up. Okay, so again, you know, there's another section damaged overlay. Not as big as that, but it's got a nice texture. So those are the two, you know, and you can do more. So then you can just do, you know, simple blast damage. You know, we'll create a new layer, blast damage. And we'll call this layer damage, damage section 02. Okay, and so here we're going to do, you know, a blast layer. And so again, I just want to be my brush, and again, just, you don't want it as dark because it's not as defined, but, you know, and then you can actually, you know, do some other layers or damage and things as well. Now the reason we like these as layers is I can just take this layer, unselect, and basically move him right over to there. So once again, you draw your wall in your main castle. It's like, okay, well, I want these sections, you know, of collapsed wall and stuff like that. So I can just do rubble. Maybe it was a collapse underneath, you know, or I can go like that and, you know, apply that. Or I can even go like this, you know, and take that section and apply it to there. You know, obviously I'd probably have to shrink that down a little bit again. So again, that's BattleMap wall tutorial for castles. Thanks for watching. Bye.